the best starting point will be, what is money?
Oh, what is money? So I will say money is a tool. I always tell people when I'm speaking about money, money is a tool. Should we love a tool? I don't think we should. Do we need a tool to enable to do other things? Yes, it's like a hammer. You need the hammer to hit the nail for you to hang your picture on the wall. So money is a tool for you to buy certain things, for you to accomplish certain things. So therefore, we don't love the hammer. We love what the hammer can do for us. So some people
Thank you very much for joining me today, Natasha. I do really appreciate your time. I know you are busy. Yeah, I can see you on socials. I see you on LinkedIn, trying to help people and educate people in terms of what financial literacy is. So yeah, I appreciate your time. Before we go into anything, if you could introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and yeah, why you do what you do.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So my name's Natasha Bonsu. I am a financial wellbeing speaker. I talk about money and well-being all across the country, from young children in primary school all the way up to adults. I enjoy what I do and I'm passionate about speaking about money because money is universal. All of us handle money, hence the young person in a primary school is already receiving pocket money, to elderly people who now become pensioners, they still handle money. But no one tells us at a young age how to manage it. We all have seasons when we have plenty, and there's seasons that we don't have plenty. So no one tells us how to manage it and how to make more or what we can do. And we're being bombarded with make more money, make more money. But sometimes we just need to understand how to manage what we have, the fundamentals. I'm a believer of fundamentals. Get the basics, then we can build on it. So that's why I talk about money, because we all handle money and we all have a relationship with money. I say to people all the time, we have a personality. Obviously, some people are introverts, some people are extroverts, and also the same when it comes to money. When people have money, if I offered Ezra £1,000, the first thing he might do is spend it. Whereas I might offer somebody else £1,000, the first thing that they might do is save it. So naturally, when you get money, you have a gut instinct of how to maneuver. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but once you know what personality you have with money, then I can help you and direct you on how to manage it according to your personality. So that's why I talk about money. That's why I enjoy it. And finally, I talk about money because in this lifetime that we are in, we will have big, like I said, seasons of having plenty. I was in corporate London 20 something years ago. I'm showing my age. And I earned a lot of money in investment banking and asset management for a young girl. Then I've been unemployed with 2 children. So I've had to learn how to manage money, not a lot of money. And now I'm in my season where I'm self-employed. So therefore my money is dependent on when I get a client. So I say that to say I've experienced money in different seasons with different people depending on me. So I feel like I can talk about money and challenges of money and how to maneuver according to your age bracket, your lifestyle, and if you have children, because how you maneuver with children is different when you're young and single. So that's why I talk about money.
Okay, no, thank you very much. And I think from my experience, most of the times when people are really passionate, as you are, about financial literacy, there is a bit of a story behind it. People would have gone through something, and from there they've decided to maybe to learn more about that specific area and then teach other people. So is there a background story here apart from you being in the financial industry?
Is there a background story? A little bit. So I'm first generation Ghanaian. My parents immigrated to London in the 80s. So I'm born and raised in London. So they came with the struggle and the dream to come to Europe and be successful. So my relationship with money is that my mum worked hard and my dad worked hard, so there wasn't plenty. So where I had finished university and I had a great education, they's like, yeah, go and get a good job and make loads of money, which I was about to do. But then you enter relationships, you get pregnant, you have a family, relationships don't work out how you envision it to be, and then the consequences of not having a fantastic relationship but having children. So I don't have a big poverty story. I just have a very much life life is difficult story which we all can resonate with, but the only difference is that some of us pick ourselves up quicker, some of us pick ourselves up slowly. We all will eventually pick ourselves up, but it's the time span and how you pick yourself up. Because if it takes you 10 years to recover, you could have done so much more if you had recovered quickly. So I say that to say we all have a money story. Some of us have come from privilege and we've had plenty, and but they don't know how to increase their family's wealth. You know what I mean? So it's my background is literally that I didn't have much. I've tried and I've maneuvered and I've overcome certain challenges with it. And I'm here today to talk about it and share my little gems that I can share. So that's my story.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think money is so important to everyone. You know, you
Yeah.
wake up in the morning, and most of the times, the first thing that comes into your mind is something to do with money. And I'm thinking this morning, from morning till what this time is almost 12 midday. The number of times I've thought about things to do with money, it's
hmm
countless, right? But
hmm
I can't remember when I last have a meaningful conversation about what money is, what and how
Mm,
I can develop my relationship, a healthier relationship with my
yeah.
finances. So I think the best starting point will be, what is money?
Oh, what is money? So I will say money is a tool. I always tell people when I'm speaking about money, money is a tool. Should we love a tool? I don't think we should. Do we need a tool to enable to do other things? Yes, it's like a hammer. You need the hammer to hit the nail for you to hang your picture on the wall. So money is a tool for you to buy certain things, for you to accomplish certain things. So therefore, we don't love the hammer. We love what the hammer can do for us. So some people say that money is everything to them. They need it. They need it to be happy. I'm also a big advocate to say that money won't bring you happiness. We've all seen people who are very wealthy, but they are very sad inside. We've seen people win the lottery 4, 5, 6 years into the lottery win. The money's finished. They've gone back to how they were pre lottery. So I'm saying this to say, if we see money for what it is, it's a tool to accomplish an end goal. Now, if your end goal is so big, like for example, to buy a house, therefore we know that your tool, the money, you're going to have to maybe get 3 or 4 types of hammers to buy your dream house. So it's just understanding what you want the money to do. Then let's work backwards to find out how we can make that money work for us. But I always say, what is money? It's a tool, is a tool for us to use in order to gain something else that we think will make us happy, and also not to use that tool to control other people, to demean other people, and to take advantage of other people. So I say, with the analogy of the hammer, I'm not telling you to use this hammer to hurt somebody and hit somebody, and I don't want you to use the hammer to even hurt yourself. You know, when you're hammering a nail, if your finger's there, you're going to use your finger and hurt yourself. Don't use this tool to also hurt yourself. So I'm very particular when it comes to money, and I just see it as a tool that we should not love and that we should not hate, but we have to hold it gently and carefully because it's powerful and it can hurt. So that's my.
Okay, so that's a really, really good analogy in terms of the hammer. Obviously, if you get hold of the hammer, you
Mhm.
don't have the right skills and knowledge of how to use it, the end result might not be good.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what we need to think money is. We need, yes, it's there, but we need, and I think I'm starting to think about as well, like relationships, your relationship with money. How you view money will kind of direct you in terms of how you're going to act when you've got it and to act when you don't have it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because, like you've just said, with the hammer analogy, if we're not taught how to use it, we don't know how to hold the hammer. So we've always told you hold the nail, you hold the hammer, and you do small taps, and the hammer will go further and further in. We don't get that tool and that education in schools. Hence the reason why I talk about this in schools, but I explain further. But sometimes the one thing that I'm learning in life is that I might have got the education about money, but my friends didn't get that education about money. And you know how that saying is, the people around you influences you. So as much as I've tried my best and I know how to manage my finances, if I'm walking with people who don't, one of us is going to influence the other. Am I influencing them or them influencing me? Again, with relationships, I say this to say that I've done a workshop with some corporate clients and they were in asset management and they were accountants, and I'm doing a financial well-being to accountants. You would assume that accountants are very good with money. They know how to budget, they know how to save, they know their numbers. But maybe the accountant is very good when they're by themselves, but they've married somebody or they're in a relationship with somebody who doesn't know how to manage finances. So is that conflict and that friction in the relationship that causes sometimes money issues? So that's why I say that money is such a weird subject to explain and discuss, because you as an island, you're very good. But when you add other people to your household, they may not be good. So again, when we're entering relationships, it's not just their upbringing and their culture and their religion. You have to ask the person that you're courting or you're dating, what's your relationship with money? Because me, I respect money. They will say they don't respect money because money's always been at their disposal. You know what I mean? So therefore, how you would handle and manage £100 is different from how they would manage £100, because they have a mindset that I can make more. Where somebody has a mindset, this £100, I have to hold it with my dear life because it took me 20 years to make £100. I don't want to squander it in 2 minutes. So yeah, money is not just you, it's the people around you that influences how you spend money. Even your children will influence how you spend money.
Trust
If
me.
you as a person didn't have much growing up and now you've had children, you're going to say, no, I want my kids to have more than I had. So you're going to overcompensate for your children because you felt like you had lack. But now you're overcompensating for them, but your finances is not enough to compensate and give your child the best of everything. But it's in your mind that your children should have the best because you didn't have the best. So it's a subject that I will always talk about.
It's it is. You see, that's the thing that is so important.
Hmm.
But why do you think that we shy away from having these discussions? So, for example, you started talking about relationships. I feel like at the beginning of the relationship, most people we don't talk about finances, and that's the same thing. You go into schools to educate young people about finances. Why is it not a core subject within our curriculum from when we're young to all the way to university?
Okay, this is my personal opinion. I'm going to sound controversial. I am of the mindset and of the belief school system was created to create workers. So you go to school, you train young people to to listen to what they're being told, to do menial tasks, to go and follow order and routine so that when they come to the workforce, they know how to be good employees. That's what school's there for. So therefore, they're not going to teach you the value of money, how to invest money, because they don't want you to be, in the nicest way possible, the employer. We need to create an army of employees so that the 1% can keep us as employees, and the 1% can be at the top. So they're creating manufactured robots, and
Okay.
that's the schooling system. So therefore, we're not going to teach you how to be like the 1%. Is in the nutshell the core. Obviously, there's exception to the rules, and that's where you have rebellious children who say, "No, I don't want to be a robot. I want to be innovative." And therefore, you get the Steve Jobs and those kind of people who like, "No, I don't want to be robotic." So I'm saying that to say we're not talking about this in school because one, generations before weren't taught, so therefore, how do you interject? And schools also believe they're teaching you through maths lessons. They feel like they're teaching you financial education through maybe a 2-hour maths lesson on arithmetic and the coins and that thing. Or sometimes schools think they're telling you about this when you do business studies, GCSEs, or business studies A level. But the problem is those subjects are an elective subject. It's not a compulsory subject. So only some are getting it. Why is money not universal? Again, I believe there's the system of we want some people to know and we want some people not to know. So we won't make it compulsory.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's my
But I agree with
controversial.
you. I agree with you. There's so many things that you said that I agree with you on there. So obviously, so in that case, it is if you've got a child,
Mhm.
it's probably is up to you as a parent to decide when you have to be serious about teaching them about money.
Yes.
I've got an 8-year-old boy.
Yeah.
When should I start teaching him about money?
Now, because statistics and research says that young people have a relationship with money from the age of 7 years old. So from last year, they understood birthday money. They understood Christmas money. They understood and heard conversations with maybe you and your partner talking about money. They're already hearing, we can't go to the park today because daddy doesn't have money. We can't go here because I need to buy you trainers, or go to school and don't put a hole in your trousers because I'm not going to buy you new one. They're already hearing that there's something that they need, which is dependent on if you have enough money. So they're already having an understanding of money by how you talk about what you can buy them. Oh, mommy, I want a bicycle. No, you have to wait for your birthday and it'll be a gift. Or mommy has to wait till she gets paid. So they're already understanding money, payday, money, waiting, money, a gift, money as a chore. Oh, I cleaned my room. Grandma gave me 2 coins. They are understanding from the age of 7. So at age of 8 now, they're forming their relationship. So right now they're like, okay, we like money because when daddy has money, he buys me nice things. They're already understanding that at 8. Or they've heard conversations in their house where parents are arguing over money. So now they don't like money. So they have a relationship from 7 years old. So you should start discussing money, valuing money, the importance of money from now.
Okay. Now, so I'm a year behind already. I
No,
have
you're
to
not
change
too, you're
money.
not bad. You're not bad. People don't see it as a big thing at 8. So like, oh, when they go to secondary school, when they're 11 or 12, we'll discuss it. But at 7, 8 years old, this generation of young people, they hear, they understand, they know that I'm not getting something because there's something called money that takes me to the shop and buys it. And there's sometimes mummy gets angry about money or daddy gets moody about money. They're already associating personality and consequences.
Yeah, so that again is like something you have to be very mindful, especially
Yeah.
if you've got kids around you, how you relate with money
Yeah.
and how you have those conversations about money when kids are around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a low. But anyway, I was looking on your YouTube and saw this clip that you were talking. I think you were invited to go into a college and you were going to talk to students there, and you say something about teaching them about long money. What is long money?
I talk about long money because again we're in this microwave society of quick money. Let's do crypto, let's do certain investments, let's put in £100 and get £1,000. Quick money, quick money, quick money. Everything is quick. But I'm a firm believer if it came quickly, you might lose it even faster. So let's think about long-term wealth strategies, and let's think about how we're going to sustain this money. Anybody can be rich overnight, but it's not everybody that can have generational wealth. So I'm trying to get people to think of long money in the sense of for you, your children, and your children's money. I'm not saying be 90 and then make money and then retire. No, I'm just saying make sure that the money that you're making is sustainable, that it can rinse and repeat on your behalf when you're sleeping, so it becomes long money that you don't have to think about. You've created systems in order to make money that if you go on holiday for 2 weeks, you don't need to be in your work to make money because you've made systems. Or if you pass away, your children should be able to run your system, or if they're interested in your work, that it can be generational wealth. So I'm trying to let young people know that the quick rich schemes are there, but as quickly as it comes, you could lose it. And if we're going to be alive on this world on average until we're 88 years old, do you want to have long money or quick money? Do you want it to look back on your life? Oh, in my 30s, I was rich, but now I'm 40, 50, 60, I'm poor. No, you rather have the long average than a short average.
Yeah.
That's why I talk about long money.
Okay. Do you have any examples of the systems that you can kind of employ to do kind of to create that kind of long money? So, for example, you have a 9 to 5 job. You are on kind of average, whatever average pay is nowadays, and you want to start thinking about the future, saving money or making your money last longer or go a longer distance. What do you have for us?
So I for me, my strategy now with my little that I know about life is that every single one of us is good at something. We are good at something, a skill, a talent. How do you monetize your skill and your talent? So you're going to your 9 to 5 to pay for your basics, obviously the food, your drink, your shelter, and to collect skills in the workplace, your communication skills, your teamwork, and all those skill sets that you need in the workplace. Then you're going to come home at 5:30, you're going to rest. Then your natural skill is what you're going to now perfect between 6 in the evening and 10. And you're going to monetize that skill. So therefore, it takes you maybe 4 or 5 years of doing 6 till 10, that now your 6 till 10 becomes your 9 till 5. But everybody has to be really honest with themselves, look themselves in the mirror and ask me, what am I good at? And what is it that I'm good at that I can monetize? So somebody will say, oh, I'm not good at anything. I just like to watch Netflix. Fine. But if you're watching Netflix, are you good at critiquing a movie that you can be a film critic? Therefore, if you feel like you love Netflix and you love watching TV, be a film critic or be a writer or write scripts, because you've seen so much TV that you can develop your own scripts. Master the art of writing scripts between 6 and 10 and sell your script to a producer. So that's what I mean about long money. Do your 9 to 5, but for it to be long, work on your 6 till 10 and monetize your 6 till 10. That will give you the long money.
Yeah.
But everybody has something that they're good at. In school, I'll get in trouble for talking a lot, being disruptive in school. My parents will come for parents. Tasha's a really great student. She's very hardworking, but she talks a lot.
Oh.
And I say to the young people now, look at me, my job is to speak. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody and their talent.
Yeah.
It's just that you have to now know how to monetize it. And also, a big, quick caveat, your skill might not be, you might not be able to monetize it when you're 18, 19 for whatever reason, but keep on developing it, because maybe at 28 it's monetizable, if that's even a good English. Don't give up just because somebody didn't buy it at age 18. If you believe you're very good at, keep perfecting, mastering your skill. It might be that your time will be at 28 years old. Some people, like the lady who wrote the Harry Potter books, she always says that she wrote it when she was 40 years old.
Yeah.
Everybody and their age when they perfect it. But I'm just saying, collect the skill. If you're very good at persuasive writing, very good at engaging and negotiating people and convincing people, keep on mastering that skill. Somebody needs you to be persuasive or somebody else. So make yourself findable, then they will give you money for the thing that you're good at.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I've heard someone saying that there's no such thing as overnight success. There's a lot of work that has been done behind the scene that we don't see. Then we see someone when things are going well, it's like, oh, it was an overnight success. But then, there was a lot of work. So that's a really, really good way to look at, developing yourself and looking at what you can do to make money. Okay, so let's talk about relationships with money, how you can develop a good relationship with money.
So, I'll do it in stages. If the people listening to me right now, let's say they're between 16 and 24, you're a young adult, you've got your first part-time job, or you're still at home, you don't have a lot of bills, so your money that you're receiving is all for you because you're living at home, you don't have any bills. Between 16 and 24, don't overspend that money. Just because you're not paying bills doesn't mean that you need to do so much outside frivolously. This is your season of, I call it hibernation. You're not paying council tax, you're not doing anything like that. And you're probably not paying a lot in tax because maybe your starting salary at Nando's in a year is £9,000. You're not paying tax, or you've just graduated, your first graduate job is £24,000. You're not paying loads in tax. So in this 16 to 24 years, you're hibernating. This is where you perfect your saving skill. And I'm saying saving. I understand that savings, inflation will eat it. And I'm an economist. I've studied economics. I understand that savings, inflation will eat your money. I'm trying to say that you're going to save because it's that savings that you're going to eventually put it in an investment vehicle between maybe 20 to 28. So 16 to 24, whilst you're living at home and your expenses is low, put a lot away in savings because your savings is going to work for you in the investment vehicle. So that's my biggest tip for 16 to 24. Try and save whilst you don't have expenses. Then when you do move out, your first 1-bedroom flat, your studio flat, your house sharing with 3 of your friends, you're now paying more bills. What you had saved when you were at home is now going to work for you. How is it going to work for you? In the high yield savings accounts, in the stocks and shares ISA, in different investment vehicles that can be churning out some dividends and some interest rate, and accruing some interest rate for you. That's your 24 to maybe 32. Your money is now working. And everything I'm saying, it goes back to what I said previously. You're still doing your 6 till 10 job. So if you're now doing your 6 till 10 and I don't know, you're into coding and you need to buy a new MacBook Pro, for example, the money that you saved is now going to be used for a business expense because you're going to hopefully be so good at coding that your business expense will pay for certain lifestyles. But I'm saying this to say, save, make the savings go into an investment vehicle. So when life does happen and you have your first child at 30, 32, your savings had moved into an investment that now some of your dividends can now be your kid's birthday present, your kid's baby shower, the car, the things that you'll need. Now you'll need a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom house with a big garden. You need a deposit for the house. It had come from your first 10 years of saving and investing. So those are my tips, and what I see is typically the journey for most people right now. So depending on where you are in your age, obviously we've all made mistakes. I'm learning as I do this job. I'm nearly a certain age. I didn't do certain things. So I'm probably 10 years behind. So I'm working maybe harder and faster to get there. But ideally, I would say to young people between 16 and 24, use this season to save what you can, and get the fundamentals of your budgeting, your automated savings account. Just because something is full price, I always tell people, just because it's full price doesn't mean you have to pay full price. find a discount code. You know what I mean? I say to people that I have, very embarrassingly, I have 10 email addresses because every time I go to a certain shop, I'm a new customer. So I have Natasha
Yeah, that
Bonsu,
becomes.
Gmail, Natasha Bonsu1 at Gmail, la la la,
Mm,
Gmail, la la la, Gmail. So every time I go there, because they want my email address, I'll give you
mm,
an email. It's free. Give me that 10%
yeah,
discount. And then that goes in somewhere. So that's how I would say of those certain habits get into. And also, let me quickly add, I'm a big
mm,
advocate of learning to tell your money where to go. Remember, I said that money was a hammer. I'm
mm,
telling the hammer to hit a nail. I tell my hammer where to go. I tell my money where to go. So if I'm not going to the gym for 6 months, I'm canceling the subscription or the direct debit. If I'm not doing certain things, cancel it. You know what I mean? Sometimes a
exactly.
lot of people lose money on uncancelled direct debits. You think I was only £20. Every fifth of the month is gone out because you didn't press cancel because you forgot. No, tell your money this next 6 months is not going to Spotify, it's not going to Netflix, it's going into a savings account because you have a reason for it. Once you've accomplished your reason for it, Netflix ain't going anywhere. Spotify is not going to disappear because you haven't subscribed for them for 6 months. They are there. I tell my young people, McDonald's won't close down if you don't go and visit them for 6 months. McDonald's was around when I was a kid, and it sure will be when you're a kid. But your dream that you want to accomplish will not be executed quickly because you're giving your dream money to McDonald's or Wingstop or Foot Locker or ASOS. They don't need it. You need it because you have dreams. You have dreams to pass your driving test. You have dreams to have a car. You have dreams that you want to accomplish, but you're giving your money to somebody who's not going to help you accomplish your dream. Why?
Yeah,
ASOS has accomplished their dream of becoming ASOS. You accomplished your dream of becoming whatever you want, but it needs money. There's no dream that there is in this world that is free. It needs money to execute a dream. Even if it's your dream to do swim with sharks or swim with
yeah,
dolphins, you need a plane ticket to get to that place and experience that. It needs money. So certain things, I tell young people, pause. Uber Eats, Deliveroo, Just Eats, that 199 delivery charge plus the service charge, it adds up in a year. That's £250, £300 on small 199, 199. That's small money that you don't respect in a year is a lot of money.
yeah,
That's somebody's driving lessons. Because I always say driving lessons because I'm always talking to that age group. They think mummy will buy the car plus the driving lessons, plus the car insurance, plus the MOT and the petrol. When we know how expensive it is to drive in this country.
yeah,
And if your mum was to lose her job, how can she pay for your driving lessons for you? And you might not be an only child. It's you and your two other siblings. Now your mum's going to pay for all of that for you. That's nearly £20,000 just on you.
yeah,
So this is why I'm trying to get some young people to start thinking about what they want and then tell their money to go in this direction because I want to go here. So I said that to say pick a direction and then tell your money to follow you in that direction. Otherwise, society, the system, whoever you call it, will tell you where your money to go. The algorithm, the TikTok videos, the Instagram will always give you adverts. Buy this, you need this. Limited offer now, once in a lifetime opportunity. If it does not align with your goals, then you don't need it right now. Anyway, I sound like
no, that is really good. And you pointed out about direct debits. And for those who don't know, there is actually apps that you can use to figure out which direct debits you have that money that you haven't cancelled and money just coming out, and you
yeah,
can manage your direct debits that way. But the other thing that what I hear you saying is always like you have to be in control of your money, otherwise it will control you. So there is the need for discipline
yes,
right there. So if you are maybe health conscious, so you go to the gym, you eat well and stuff like that. And if you are struggling with your mental health, you probably find someone, a psychiatrist or something like that, to get help with that. For your kind of financial well-being, where do you go and what do you do? Because if I'm to go to gym, I know I'm working to, for my biceps, I'm working towards something. There's something I'm targeting. And you mentioned a lot about, okay, you can start cutting some things like spending a lot, you can do that. But if you don't have the discipline to say, okay, I've saved this money here, I now have to save it for the future, you can just move money from there and just focus on another thing and spend it on another thing. How can you develop that discipline to to manage your money?
I like what you said. Yeah, if you want to lose weight, you'll go to the gym. There's like a gym clinic. Do we have something called a money clinic? And unfortunately, we don't typically have a clinic for money and money help. And the
Mm.
clinics that we do have is when you've got yourself, let's call it so obese, then they help you. They don't help you when you're about to be obese. They only help you once you're sick, which is an awful system. You should let people, prevention is, as they say, is better than cure. Prevent people from being sick than actually curing them. So unfortunately, there's not a money clinic. Hence the reason why in this, where there's a lot of financial well-being experts like myself who give people money advice. So you have to find one that you resonate with. Some of us as well-being experts do money coaching, we'll do workshops, we'll do seminars, we'll do resources. So that's the equivalent of money clinic. It's influencers, they call them finfluencers, financial influencers. But you have to just be careful that they're not using their influence to sabotage you or scam you. But unfortunately, there's not a money clinic. It is just going onto the internet, and school that should have been your money clinic but wasn't there. That's why I hope that some people will see me in schools or in the workplace. But until that happens as a compulsory thing, I think the only clinic that you can have is yourself right now. You're going to have to self diagnose, unfortunately. Now, if you know that you have a big dream and you have somebody in your family or in your community that you can trust, then that is going to be your accountability partner. So you're going to have to find somebody. I'm a big advocate for a mentor, somebody that you want to emulate, you like what they do, or you like the direction and where they're going and how they are carrying themselves in that direction. Then that person could be your monthly check-in. Hi, I'm going through this. Can you help me, or can you give me some tips and hints? And that's why I guess podcasts and YouTube channels are so great, because people are having conversations about what people are going through. So definitely continue to do the online space of podcasts, webinars, resources to be your own money clinic. And then the people around you are really vital. I always say it's either the people around you will make you richer, or the people around you will make you poorer, but they're going to make you do left or right. So just keep on assessing your friendship groups, and then keep on doing that self-reflection. Where is this good for me? Yes or no? And pivot. But unfortunately, there's no such thing as a money clinic. The only clinic is when you're in thousands of pounds of debt. Then you have charities that give you debt advice. Is then when you've been abused economically, then there's a charity that can tell you how to come out of an abusive relationship. They don't tell you how not to get there. They only help you once you're there, which is unfortunate, but that's the society that we live in. So it's just more podcasts like what you're doing, Ezra, that will help. Is the equivalent of a money clinic.
No. Okay. And do you work with individuals? Because you mentioned earlier when we started that you work with you go into schools, colleges, and organizations. Do
Yeah.
you have like
So I'm
individual
in the
patients?
process of being a licensed coach, and then there's a difference. There's financial coach. Let me let people know. There's a money coach, and then there's financial advisors. So you have to understand who you're going to. A money coach is like a life coach, gym coach, sports coach. They will guide you, navigate you, encourage you. This is how you should maneuver. This is the kinds of apps that you should be looking into. These are the books that you should be reading to get better with your money. Then the financial advisor is typically those who want to now invest in sophisticated assets or do long-term investment planning, or they have a trust and there's a will and their portfolio is much bigger. So they need expertise, financial advice. So there's two different things. The advisor will give you more technical advice about your assets, especially if you don't want it to be lost in the system, and that's why you have a will and the trust in place. Many coaches can say we're going to do clean shopping for 6 months, so you to get that discipline, so when I leave you, you've got the fundamentals in place.
So, whichever subject area I'm discussing with my guests, I always ask about misconceptions.
Okay.
Are there any misconceptions about money? Come on.
Yeah, the whole thing about quick money is obviously a misconception. And I've heard this on Instagram. Money doesn't grow on trees. Again, it doesn't come like that. The money that grows on trees is because that tree was planted. You know how anything that you want to grow, a flower, a tree, it has to go deep in the soil first. It needs to be anchored. It needs to go down before it can come up. So I'm saying that to say, even if it grew on trees, it's because the person had done what you were saying, 6 months grinding, 2 years grinding, 5 years investing. They did their things in the dark, in the soil when no one was looking. They went deep. So when they start blossoming, you think it's an overnight success. No, they went low and they went deep and they went hard before they start blossoming the tree and you saw the fruits. So if you think money's growing on trees, look at the tree and ask that tree, how long were you planted in the soil before you came up? Because trust me, if it's really good quality tree, good quality money, good quality lifestyle, it went down and it went into hiding for a good 5 years. So that's my one misconception. And that thing about time is money, no, time is not money at all. Time is greater than money. So don't equate your time to money at all. Time is much greater because people had plenty of money, but on their dying bed, the money couldn't heal them. The money can't take away sickness. The money can't take away cancer. You have a limited time on this planet. Everybody has a limited time, and people want to buy more time, but you can't buy time. So the time that you have is so much more powerful than the money that is in your bank account. You can have £2 trillion in your bank account. It won't move me, because if you haven't done what you had to do in that time and you can't buy more time, then you got to utilize your time that you have now to the best of your ability. So time is much more infinitely valuable than money. So use your time wisely.
Yeah. And again, on the concept of time, I was thinking earlier on today that it's funny how when you think you've got a lot of time, that's when you realize that, well, actually I don't, because you sometimes you wake up, you prepare for something. And when I was preparing for this for this session today, or the conversation, I woke up early, got ready, and stuff. Before I know it, time is gone. I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna be late. I need to be too quick. And sometimes when you think you've got more time, that's when you relax and you don't do things that you need to do on time, then suddenly you don't have that time.
Yeah.
And this is kind of maybe a message from to those young adults, which that yeah, the time to start getting to know things about money and investing and educating yourself about money is now. It's not next year. It's not next month. It's now.
Yeah.
That is
And that's why young people, when they're at home under their mum's roof or their dad's roof, they think like, oh, I've got plenty of time. I can spend it. I can make more. But you don't know how long you'll be in your mother's house, because you don't know when she's going to kick you out. You don't know when you might fall pregnant and you can't stay in your mother's house. You don't know when your mother's going to pass away and the council are going to take the council flat or whatever accommodation you have. Or you don't know that your mum has bought the house, so therefore the house doesn't automatically come to you through inheritance tax because there's a tax to it. So we think that we have plenty of time, but you do not know tomorrow. And obviously we've all experienced COVID. We've all saw how crazy COVID was, just like that. So you can't think you have plenty of time. So that's why you need to get into the habit of the saving now. So if your mum kicks you out, if you lose your family home, if you use this time to save, because this is why I'm saying that navigating challenges, because the unexpected will happen to every single one of us, because none of us are fortune tellers. None of us can predict tomorrow. So because you don't know what tomorrow will bring you, the only wisest thing that you can do is save. and invest. So just in case it happens, you've got a backup plan. Unless you're a fortune teller and you can tell me what's going to happen to you at 21, 31, 51, then let me be quiet. But until you can tell me what's happening to you, I can tell you the unexpected will come and you didn't see it coming and you didn't have money to resolve it, because money will resolve problems. I didn't say, oh, money will make you happy, but
Mm.
trust me, if you have a problem, it will resolve it. Even cancer, let me be very clear. If cancer is going to kill you, it can kill you. But you can sometimes, depending on how aggressive it is, you can slow it down, because certain people can change their diet quickly to slow the growth of the cells, because they have the money and the resources to have an alkaline diet, whatever you believe in cancer and how it spreads. But some people, they don't have the money for maybe certain vitamins, certain organic food. So they have to resort to the normal sugary foods. Therefore, you're feeding the cancer cells. So I'm saying that to say, if you had money, I'm not saying that cancer won't kill you, but you can slow it down sometimes. People who need kidney dialysis, they can't afford to go 4 times a week. They can only go once a week, because it could be a financial issue. We all know the NHS is strained. So if you want to be seen quickly, hopefully you had money for private healthcare. If not, you're waiting 6 months for a referral, for the GP to send it to the specialist, for them to give you a consultation, for them to now give you an operation date. If you had money, you would have been seen quicker. There would have been more specialist X-ray scans, the MRI scan that would take at your local hospitals, a 6 weeks waiting list. If you had private healthcare, you would have been seen tomorrow. So I'm not saying that money will make you happy. I'm just saying that it will make certain things, you can solve certain problems, but you can't solve death. If your time has come, if your
I
time has
can't
come,
give more time.
you can't fight that
Um,
one. Yeah.
that's yeah, no, that's very true. So I was just thinking, right? There are two groups of thinking here,
Yeah.
where people say money is the root of all evil, and
hmm
some say money makes the world go around.
hmm
Where do you see?
Money is not the root of all evil. I believe, again, money is a tool. So the person who held the money is the one that was evil, and they use that money for evil. So if you are naturally, people don't know that, but if you're naturally a horrible person, you're a horrible person. I could give you £1,000 and you'll be stingy. And there's some people, I'll give them £1,000 and they will share. It's not the money that was evil. It's the person who held the money that was evil. So money is not the root of all evil. That's my personal opinion. And money makes the world go round. Yes, because again, because it's a tool, I also see money as a stream of water. It needs to move. If you don't let money move and you let it sit in a bank account, it'll become stagnant and it will have a stench and it won't grow in value, because what the £1,000 you hid today, 10 years from now, is not £1,000, it's £850. You've made it be stagnant. You didn't give your money a job to do. You let it sit in a savings account. It did nothing for you and is even depreciated in value. So money makes the world go round, because I see it as water and it needs to move, and it doesn't like staying in one pot or one dam. It needs to move. It needs to go from my hand to Ezra's hand to somebody's hand. Every hand that it touches, it's been invested and it's appreciating. So it has a job. But money doesn't like to be sitting still under your bed. No. So money makes the world go round.
It just took me back to my Sunday school days.
What does it say?
When we were listening to, we were being taught about parables and stuff like that. That parable of, I think it was a king who was going away, gave his servants some money or some coins, and some buried, some went
Yeah,
and did something, and those who buried it stayed the same.
yeah,
And when the king came back, he was angry and he took the
yeah,
money away and gave it to someone who had gone and used that to get more money
yeah,
for it. So yeah, and the thing is, right, this shows you that this concept about making your money work and using your money to make more money has been here for years and years, for hundreds of years, which to me makes it very surprising that we still feel very uncomfortable about talking about money in our everyday. situation, everyday life, just talking, being open about money. So yeah, there we go. Right. I was going to ask you if there's any success stories of maybe someone you've helped with advice and they have turned their life around and what it was like, what it is that you actually helped them to.
Yes, in my
Yeah.
schools and in my adult workshops, I'm always liking to know feedback or people reach out to me 6 months later. What you
Mm.
said in your speech really resonated with me. Tasha, I'm known for one-liners, so people will hear my one line and say no, they're gonna hear it. So I think the biggest transformation that I take from a lot of my workshop is that again I talk about credit card and credit scores. And I think one of the things that I hear from young people is they didn't know the significance of the credit score and the credit report. And I'm always telling them that score is like you going to school and having a maths test. You are rated on a score and you need to know to how to pass the test. And the credit scores are just going to show you how trustworthy you are with money. So you want to be seen to be trustworthy. So if somebody lends it to you on a credit card or a loan, pay it back. The more you pay it back, the more you're seen to be trustworthy, that you're going to be given more in credit cards. So I feel like when I'm talking to young people, they now understand they're going to respect their credit score and they now know the strategies to increase their credit score. So that, because I share a story of me not having a great credit score and how I messed up my credit score, my credit report. So they've taken my experience and they said, okay, they're not going to be how Natasha was. And when they are turning 18 and they get a credit score, they know how to improve it. Because the problem with the score for your rest of your life is going to be used to judge you. It's like a criminal record. If you mess it up, it's going to follow you. Obviously, the credit score, your results get wiped off after 6 years. So it's not like a criminal record where it could be with you for life, but it is a record that follows you. So you need to be sure that what is following you doesn't stink. So you want to try and make sure that your report is as pleasant as possible, because there will be a day that you might need to borrow money from the bank to buy the house. The boiler will stop working, the house renovation, the loft conversion, the new fitted kitchen, the car, you're gonna have to go and get a car finance or a loan. You just want your track history to show that back in the day you were really trustworthy. We can trust you with a £20,000 loan for a car, that you're gonna pay it off. So I think the biggest transformation is that people don't realize the consequences of the credit score and the credit report. But by talking to me and hearing my experience, they're like, okay, we're not gonna do what Natasha did. We're gonna do what she said she would have done if she had done it, and then they find that they're on good stead.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask you at some point towards the end to
Go
say
on.
that I think the issue of credit score, I think is something that we need to dedicate a whole session
Okay.
to it for people to really understand what it is,
Mm-hmm.
how you can build it, how you can easily destroy it, how to avoid those things, and the impact of it on your kind of on your life, really, especially if you are living in countries like the UK and other developed worlds, is very very important to understand that. So yeah, don't be surprised if I reach out to say
No,
that.
it's true. No, because credit and debt is a big
Mm.
topic in itself.
Yeah,
And there's so
yeah,
many tips and tricks again that they don't want us to know, because they want us to keep on borrowing money,
yeah.
repaying it, working. So it's a vicious cycle that unfortunately they don't want us to kind of know. So we need to know so we can come out of that cycle. And that's a whole 1 hour talk. I could talk on that for ages.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So I'll reach out and we can arrange another session if
Sure.
that's okay with you. Um, are there any resources from the top of your head now that people can quickly access to start their journey on understanding money and building their relationships
I'm
with money?
going to show my age. I'm an older, so I like an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, just in case. I wasn't going to say pen and paper. I'm a bit better. An Excel spreadsheet, my people, please open one. Do your budget on Excel. So you're on the right hand side, you're going to have all your income, your part time work, universal credit, child maintenance, whatever it is, totally up £2,000. That's January, February, March, April. Project it for 1 year. Then insert lines for your expenses, rent, gas, electricity. Insert, insert, insert. Write down how much it is. Therefore, it's going to take cell, I don't know, A6 minus cell A26. So all of your income minus all of your expenses, you're going to have a total. Then you're going to do that for me for 6 months. And then you're going to just work according to your budget. And then in 6 months' time, if I was coaching you, I would be the annoying teacher and I would insert a line G, and I would say unexpected, I don't know, £1,000. You would see that by inserting line G, the figures of your totals has now changed. How do you maneuver when the unexpected £1,000 comes into your life? Anyway, that's another workshop, but I would love for everybody to have an Excel spreadsheet with their expenses. I know young people like a budgeting app. It's okay, but I like the way the Excel spreadsheet shows me January in column A to December. Then I can see my totals, and obviously it will sum it up. Because 1 month your phone bill is £16, another month your phone bill is £20, and then it'll keep on changing it, so you can keep on seeing if you have enough at the end of the month. Then on the spreadsheet you can see that gym membership of £20, £20, £20, can I pause it? Because if you cancel that row for gym, it's now going to give you £20, obviously. Then you can see that, oh, I feel a bit more comfortable when once my expenses have taken out, I've got £200 as a cushion. Where some people can't handle £200 as a cushion. They want £500 as a cushion. By looking at it as an Excel spreadsheet, I just want you to visualize and see what we're working with. So the fundamentals for everybody. Excel, open it up. It's January to December 2025. Let me see your income and expenses and see where your money's going. Because when you write it down, you'll know that, hey, I didn't know I was spending £60 on my phone bill. You just see it going, but you didn't see it on an Excel spreadsheet. And there's power of looking at something on a piece of paper. So let's start.
Yeah, I was gonna say there is that it's different on an app than sitting there and actually inputting the figures yourself and looking at them every month. I was one of those people back in the day who would say, I don't know where my money goes, until I met my wife and she introduced me to the spreadsheet, and it changed my life.
Oh, so you do spreadsheet? Fantastic. Oh, great.
That I wouldn't change it for anything, just because of that visual where, and that input you have to actually do it yourself, put the figures yourself. You actually really know when, because even if you use an app, sometimes it does all the manual lifting for you, and then you see the figures, and then you miss this thing about, okay, I'm putting in £10 here, this is £20. And then as you're typing in, it's like, do I actually really need to be paying £50 for this? Do I need this? You know, you keep questioning yourself around that. So yeah, no, it does really work. It's basic, I know.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's what we need in these situations where you want to get hold of, to discipline yourself so that it becomes part of you, really.
Exactly.
How you look after your money. So,
and you'll find that the budget of a young person or a single person is different from a budget from a person with 2 kids, because obviously you're inserting lines for, I don't know, after school club and other expenses. But I'm saying that to say, just if you start learning how to do it when you're single, when the first child comes in, you know how to insert a line. When the second child comes in, you know how to insert a line. When the dog and the cat and the fish and all your pets come in, you just insert lines. But if you don't even know how to insert 5 lines, how are you going to insert 20 lines, which is what I call life? You know what I mean? So it goes back to, let's learn year 3 maths so that we can start doing year 10 maths. But if we don't get the year 3 maths right, it's hard to do year 10 maths. Does the analogy make sense? We have to get the fundamentals, get the spreadsheet. You're young, you're single, you won't have much. Great. Lock it in. Learn to perfect that much. So when the spreadsheet gets wider and wider, you know how to maneuver.
Yeah. Now, and also in terms of resources, I will put a free module that people can do if you're interested in starting your journey today. This is a module offered by the Open University. They've got this website, the Open Learn. It's a free module, but it helps you to understand money. You cover some of the things that we covered in here today. What is money and how you can kind of look after your money, develop a good relationship with money. So it will be in the description box below. Okay, Natasha, I had put aside an hour for this, but I'm really enjoying this conversation. There is one one I guess two things I wanted to ask you before you go. One of them is if people want to work with you and they need your help, it might be an individual, it might be an organization, or it might be a school. How do they reach you?
They can find me on my website. So it's my name, natashabonsu.com. So www.natashabonsu.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, and I'm now doing my Instagram. So you'll find me on Instagram, but my Instagram is just quick, short tips. But anything that you really need to find me on my website on LinkedIn, and I can help you, signpost you, and I'll definitely, I don't gatekeep information. I'll share it with you wholeheartedly. So yeah.
Okay, so I'll put all those details in the description box. So if you're interested, visit the website, find out more information, and yeah, make use of the resources on there. And the last question: what are maybe we already touched them on them already in our conversation, but if as your ending kind of a closing advice, three habits that people can start today to start on their journey of kind of developing that healthy relationship with their finances.
My three tips would be: one, know your personality with money. Know it and own it. If you're a saver, you're a saver. Fantastic. If you're a spender, you're a spender. But ask yourself, what personality do I have with money? Once you know which personality you are, if you're a spender, fine, we're going to work on spending. I'm a spender, so therefore, if I'm going to buy something, I need to make sure I found a discount code. If I don't find a discount code, I'm not buying it. That's how I justify my spending. At least I've got a discount. Then I'm getting better with it. So know your personality with money, number one. Number two, now you know your personality, budget. Again, like we've just discussed, visual representation of your money and where it goes is fantastic on an Excel spreadsheet. That is number two. And number three, if you can get into the habit of saving, because it's the savings that will go into the investment. People who invest had the spare £1,000, £50, £100 because they saved it, because they had it there. People want to invest when they can't even pay the light bill. People want to invest and buy a new car, but you don't you want to buy something that is depreciating in value. I don't know. For me, it doesn't make sense. I'm saying that to say, find your personality, budget, then you're going to save to pull it in the investment vehicles that will be making money for you whilst you're sleeping. That's typically the journey.
Okay. Thank you very much, Natasha. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation. I've a lot of takeaways here, a lot to learn. Sometimes you think you know things, and then I have a conversation with people like you. I realize, like, well, there's more for me to learn. There's more for me to know, really, and I'm sure that's the same with everyone out there. And if again, as if this conversation helped you or you want to know more, please start doing your own research. Why I encourage you guys to not to be followers but be students. So when you hear something, be curious and start looking to understand on your own. Really, there's a lot of resources out there. Take advantage of those resources. Ask, talk to people. Start being comfortable talking about money. We work with money every day, so let's talk about it. There's nothing to hide about about money. So let's do it. And I know sometimes, depending on where you are in the world, some of these things are to do with our cultures, our beliefs, and stuff like that. And we need those cultures, we need the beliefs, and to be our guiding principles. But let them not be our limiting principles. So we need to be open. We need to be curious about the world, and money is a big part of the world that we live in. So thank you very much for joining me today, and hopefully I'll see you next week in our next episode. Thank you.